Okay, so welcome, one and all, to the latest news of AI news. I've been doing this now. This is my third day. We'll see if I keep going into the. I'm still working on gathering all the right news sources. So one of the things I found recently that I thought was pretty interesting, Copilot has become this, generic name for all things Microsoft AI. And sometimes it's a little bit, it's just, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, it's like IBM for a long time had WebSphere, and everything was WebSphere. No matter what tool you were looking at, it was WebSphere. And there have been plenty of other companies that have done something similar where no matter what the thing is in their product line, it was always whatever was catchy for the world. So before it was WebSphere, now Microsoft's got Copilot. Copilot originally was just in VS Code, and it was an AI. It is an AI assistant. It came out a little bit after. What was the one from before that? I was a customer for a Tab 9. It was really I think the first of the major tools for doing AI as an AI assistant inside of VS Code. And then Copilot in VS Code came along. But this is just a nice article in Techcrunch that came out. It looks like it came out today, this morning. Just looking at what is Copilot and what are the different variations you can get for Copilot. I can't say I'm not a user at all of Copilot. I don't use any of the Microsoft Office tools. I rarely visit Bing unless I can't think of a reason I've visited Bing in a long time. I don't know anything about Copilot Pro. Maybe I should look to see if I get customers using 365 personal or family. I'm on 365 business, although I don't use it, but I have it just because my wife's business or LLC, we bought business or 365 for business for her to use, and I use it as well. And I think it costs us like $30 a year $20 a year per user, but that's because I'm Microsoft alumni. I used to work at Microsoft for 5 years, and I've maintained that payment that I send to Microsoft alumni each year. But anyway, so it's an interesting article just to, when you hear Copilot, when you hear Microsoft say Copilot, what does that mean? I didn't really know this, so it's kind of interesting to see all the different ways that Copilot is used by Microsoft. So that was interesting. Another one that I found interesting, let's see if this comes through. Oh, that's not, let's see. I have to share each time, huh? That's annoying. Share this one. Share. So this is not I guess this is a pretty new article. But I have no idea who this person is. But I found it on Medium, and the actual article isn't the big deal. It's ColPALI, the model, which seems pretty interesting. I don't have a way of looking at my chat right now. I don't know if anyone's saying anything. But ColPALI is neat because it's a lava model that has been fine-tuned to understand PDF documents. Now, there are a lot of tools to convert PDF to text, but most of them are terrible. There's PyPDF, PyMu PDF, all sorts of Python-focused PDF to text converters, and all they do is take the text that's in the PDF and spit it out as text, which is not all that useful, especially if you have 2 columns in your PDF document, because it'll read from left all the way to the right side, And so you'll have a little bit of column 1, then column 2, then column 1, then column 2, which is not how it's meant to be read. And yes, you can change it sometimes in like PyMute PDF, I think. You can say, okay, do this as a 2-column document, but then you need to kind of manage, put all the 2-column documents together, except it's not 2 columns all the way through. It's 2 columns, then 1 column, and dealing with that is hard. There are some other tools, like there's a newer version of PyMute PDF that does a better job of detecting going back and forth. But this is nice because it's actually using a model. Now, often OCR, like pure OCR engines are often, I've always said they've been better, more effective, and faster than using a model. But in this case, it seems to be like a really good use of a model to detect different kinds of documents. And it looks like it could be really useful. I'd love to play around with it. I haven't played around with it yet. But I'd love to play around with it. And let's see. I see there are people here, but I wonder if maybe I'm not seeing their comments. Switch over here. Okay, there are no comments. Okay, that's good. Monetization's off. Let's turn that on. That almost done here. Okay. Okay, so got that all set. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully that where am I? ColPALI. Yeah, so I think this looks really interesting. The downside for now, I don't see this I haven't seen it in, let's see, if I go to olama.ai, and I don't think I'm going to find ColPALI in the list of models. It's not been uploaded by anyone else, and it's not been posted by the Olama team. So there's no way of using ColPALI inside of Olama. I don't know if it's possible. I just haven't looked into it. I only just saw this article, or a series of articles, just in the last few days, or today, in the last few days, just today. So I haven't had a chance to take a look, but that's interesting. Another one that's interesting is, let's see, copy URL. Let's see if this works better. So yesterday, I think I saw an interesting article talking about Iran's the way that Iran is trying to influence the U.S. election. And here's an article from The Guardian that talks about the Russia side, and how are they trying to influence the U.S. election. And a report by Meta, now it's in Meta's best interest to say that Russia's AI tactics for U.S. election interference are failing. It's in their best interest to say that, because it was Meta and Facebook that where so much of the interference happened in the 2016 election, with Russia pushing information, hoping that Trump would get elected, versus Hillary Clinton. So it's in their best interest to say this, but they are suggesting that they've shut down a lot of generative AI efforts to influence the 2024 election. So just an interesting article. And by the way, The Guardian is always a great source for a lot of news. We used to get The Guardian growing up. We'd get The Guardian to our, mailed to us every 2 weeks. I think it was a daily newspaper, but we would get it every I think 2 weeks, sent to us where I grew up on Key Biscayne near Miami, Florida, because my dad loved the cryptic crossword in The Guardian. I have no idea how that stuff works. The cryptic crossword is just bizarre, but he loved it, and so we always got the Guardian to our house. There's a few articles that I found interesting that were looking at different ways AI is being used to make better use of or interpret other situations. And here's one that's pretty interesting. This is also from The Guardian about firefighting and how AI tools are being used to help firefighters know where to focus, so it's just a interesting idea of using these AI tools to help firefighters be more effective at putting out fires. And apparently this tool from this company, where was it? The company name? It was a weird company name. Now I can't see it. Chief. It's in here somewhere. Anyway, there's a company that's involved here, but Techno Silva. That's a strange, interesting name for a company, Techno Silva. But yeah, just super interesting. And there was also another article that was pretty interesting for interpreting sensors and imagery using AI, and that's regarding a new satellite that was launched by the ESA, the European Space Agency. FISAT, I think it's called, FISAT-2. And what's interesting here is that normally with these satellites, they are taking a bunch of images or other sensors, collecting that, and then just transmitting them back to Earth for processing down here. But on here, it's got not only the camera, but a computer on board that does the processing up in orbit and then can send the results of the processing down rather than... Now, I'm not sure if that's... there's always going to be more powerful computers down on land, and it's going to get better and better all the time. But it's an interesting idea to have, maybe at least a first run through the material, looking for interesting stuff in the imagery. And it talks about where was it? Street map generation, maritime vessel detection, all these different use cases that could help be aided by the fact that the AI and the compute is happening up in space with the where the images are being collected. So I thought that was pretty cool. Hey, recently stumbled upon your content. Love the videos. This is from Manoj. I can actually show this on the stream too. Wanted to ask how SNLLM can help in cybersecurity. Can it do attack as well as defend digital assets? SN. I don't know what SNLLM means. I know what LLM means, but what's SN? SN. How SN? Or is it just maybe an LLM, not... I think that's what you mean. How can an LLM help in cybersecurity? So I guess looking for patterns in... Yeah, sorry, thank you. I was thinking like SN was like a product name or something like that, and then I looked at my keyboard and I saw A and S, at least on a US QWERTY keyboard, A and S are right next to each other. It's like, typo, fat finger. I do that a lot too. how can it help in cybersecurity? So a lot of cybersecurity, I believe, is logs. So collecting logs about who's coming in on your edge routers and what kind of activity, what are people doing. And so you've got all of this, massive log files, using those models to help find the patterns in the log files is potentially where it could help. I believe. I'm not in the cybersecurity space. What can I do to defend digital assets? I don't know. I mean, I think, well, last night, it's not quite the same thing, but I had a problem with my connection. In fact, let me take a look at my stream. I just want to see what it looks like. I think it looks pretty good. Where's this? If I play the live stream now, and I make it quiet. So it looks pretty, oh, wow, that looks pretty great. That's amazing. Okay, so for all of my streams before, the quality when I do the live stream has been terrible. And I've always blamed my connection. I've always blamed my connection first and thought, well, obviously I need to get a better connection. But every time I say that, I think, man, I don't think that's it. It's got to be something else. Because I have a gigabit download, but the upload is 30 megabit. And of course that fluctuates. It's using Comcast or Xfinity. And so it's cable TV, and so it's their infrastructure, and that can fluctuate depending on how many of my neighbors are using it. And we all use Xfinity because there really is no other option. And so sometimes it can fluctuate, but every time I run speedtest.net or whatever it is, I always see it's pretty much at 30 megabit upload, sometimes 40, sometimes even 50, but rarely gets below 25. And really for a decent upload, you need 2 megabit upload, or maybe even less. This can't be the reason why I'm having such bad performance in these live streams. And later on, I'll upload a better version, but there's got to be something else to it. And last night I thought, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time figuring this out. And the joke being that, there's the classic haiku, it's not DNS, and I can't remember the rest of it. Maybe it is, and then it turns out to be DNS. Because that's usually the problem. Anytime it's, you would, no, I wouldn't love Starlink. Starlink is terrible for upload. It's decent for download. I mean, one of my neighbors has Starlink, and it's great for the download, not so great for the upload. I mean, it's decent, but so is Xfinity. I mean, it's very comparable upload speeds, at least what he's able to get as well. So, So I thought, okay, let me look into it. And I actually asked, I've collected a bunch of logs and some description of the performance. And I just asked a model, okay, here's what I'm seeing out of my Omada network console. What's going on? How can I fix this? And of course, the first thing it suggests is, look at your DNS. Like, it's not DNS. And so I finally went to... I went into my Pi-hole configuration, and I saw that my forwarding or upload upstream DNS was set to something that was on that local host, and there isn't anything running there. And I turned that off and switched it over to I chose Cloudflare, so 1.1.1.1. And pretty instantaneously, even my Wi-Fi connection had a really good stream quality. So maybe it was DNS. It was DNS. So anyway, so yeah, so that's my experience. Again, it's not quite the same as cybersecurity. I would be doing a lot more with log aggregation to look. I think but then again, I'm not in that space. That was a long answer. Sorry about that. Another thing that was interesting that I saw was a blog post from Mixbread. So, where's my browser? So Mixbread has a embedding model. In fact, if I go over to olama.ai and I go to models, I go to models, and then down here, if I just look at, was it, I think it's just Mixbread. No? MXBAI. Yeah, there it is. So MXBAI embed large is a embedding model, and that was the first time I ever heard of Mixbread. I don't know anything about them, but they've got this blog post on their blog. There we go. About BMX. And BMX, or apparently BM25, is a lexical search algorithm that is used often. And BMX is just trying to make an improvement on that algorithm. And it doesn't really go into a lot of detail about, I mean, it goes into a lot of detail, but I was having a hard time understanding, well, what is BM25 and what is BMX? And we've got some, here's how to try it out. But throughout this article, I couldn't find what they actually are. And so if you go down here and you want to read more, there's a section about, okay, here's what BMX and BM25 are. But a warning, it's really math heavy. And then I clicked on it and I was like, oh yeah, it is math heavy. So I had, my math reading, I'm not so good at this. So I was like, okay, well that definitely doesn't help. So I just copied it and gave it to a model and asked it to come up with a better explanation. And essentially it comes down to BM25 focused on individual term frequency and adjusts for overly frequent terms. And so it looks at how many times specific words from your search appear in each book and gives more importance to rare words. But BMX not only does that, but also looks at how those words fit together in the context of your entire search. It also gives more importance to words that provide more unique information. So BMX takes the good parts of BM25 and makes them better by considering the overall context and importance of terms, leading to more accurate and relevant search results. So I have no idea where this is actually used. I don't know. Maybe I've seen BM25 before. I don't know if I have, but so it's just an interesting. I was able to gloss over most of it until I got to this section, but still, it was pretty interesting. And then one more news article not news, just recent post that I found interesting was from a guy from a website called Justin Math. And I think this came out in the last few days, August 8th, so about a week ago. But how do you get from standard high school math that most people will know about to cutting edge ML/AI? What are the stages you need to go through to really understand and go further and be able to, well, understand that those formulas that I showed in that last page? How do you get there? And so it just goes through these 4 stages: foundational math, then classical math, machine learning, deep learning, and cutting edge machine learning. I'm not sure how long these stages would take. I guess it depends on what's your base level. But just here's the kind of foundational math concepts you need to get, classical machine learning concepts you need to understand, and so forth. So one of the things I often ask models, different models, is if I want to learn something, give me a lesson plan to learn that thing. And they're usually pretty good, but it's always going to be, in most cases, it's often going to be better if you can get it from a human telling you, okay, here's really the things you need to understand to be able to get to my level, or to a certain level in being able to understand math or understand, I don't know, particle physics. I don't know. But so I thought that was an interesting article, just an interesting roadmap to use. I might start going through this myself, because I would love to be able to understand this a little bit better. It's important for men our age to monitor their stream. Yeah, sure. All right. So how long have I been going? I've been going for about 30 minutes. Cool. And I'm going to turn off my sharing. I think that's stop sharing. Yep. And now I'm going to go back to looking at my stream, because I want to see. You don't need to hear that. Let's go to the current time, because I want to see how good this is performing. Yeah, I mean, that looks great. That looks so much better than every other. Oh, maybe it doesn't. I just zoomed, and I was like, ooh, that's not quite as great as I was hoping it would be. Bummer. Oh well, there's still more work to do. Any questions? Any thoughts on this stream and how it went? I'm probably gonna, my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, and my wife went down to the beach, just, 30 yards away, with a friend, and I think they're probably gonna be back here in the next 5 minutes, and they're probably gonna say, "Matt, get off that computer." Yeah, Anyway, was this interesting? I thought those were some interesting posts. I'll share this on the description, in the description below, for this video and future videos, or this video, as well as I'll do a cleanup version and post that. Any life? Is there any life out there? There's 4 people. I need to come up with a standard time to do this. I think that's part of my problem. I don't have a standard time yet. My standard time is, I should do one of these streams. Oh, let me see what's broken. I need to turn stuff on, and I kind of fumble through a time, and I just kind of go online. But maybe I should come up with a good time that works well for people, or works well for me. Maybe I should just do one for each hour, and figure out which live stream gets the most people. Not that I need the most people, because all I need is Frank and Manoj. Okay. Well, if nobody's going to ask any questions, I'm going to go away. I guess nobody's asking any questions. Okay, yeah. DP. All right, well, I guess I'm going to go then. Thanks so much for joining me for my look at some of the interesting news articles I found in the last 24 hours about mostly AI. I'm going to try to continue to focus on mostly local, but sometimes non-local stuff creeps in, because there's less stuff to talk about. But that's my news update for today. Okay, I gotta get better at saying goodbye. Suck at this. This is the part I really suck at. Oh, you were getting a drink. So was I. Okay, well, I'm gonna head out. Thanks so much for being here, Manoj. Thanks so much for being here, Frank, and the 4 other people who are lurking. We'll try again for tomorrow. I need to come up with a good time. I'll come up with a good time and stick to that time. And we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye. Oh, wow, just as I'm saying goodbye, the number of people here is growing. 7 people now. Is there a schedule for the stream? No, there's not. The schedule is, I should probably do a stream. Turn it on. I need to come up with a good time. Is this a good time? 1:30 U.S. Pacific time? I don't know. Actually, I probably started this 35 minutes ago, so 1 p.m. U.S. Pacific time. I don't know if that's a good time to do it. I should probably do it. I wonder. It's the problem is I don't really have. When I look at where are most of my viewers, I don't have they aren't all in the U.S. They are some in the U.S., some in Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Asia, India, Pakistan. I see lots of folks in Australia. So it's 1 o'clock every hour of the day somewhere in the world. So I don't know what's the best time to do this. I guess it's always available offline as well. I have to think more about what time do I do a stream. Maybe I do it different times on different days. Maybe on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do it at a certain time, and Tuesday, Thursday, I do it at a certain time. I don't know. So hard. The world is big. All right. I'm going to find that stop button. Bye.